to the stills. As we told you, we would not be live at noon today. So now we're live a little bit later than noon today. We've had a lot going on. And in our last, one of our last videos, I always like to follow up with things. I did say that Pete Hegseth was confirmed with it was a tie, 50-50 tie, and broken by J.D. Vance. And I was right. That's exactly how the vote went down. It was a tie. Two Republicans voted no, one of whom was Mitch McConnell. And honestly, I did not bother to look up the other one. I don't remember, probably Lisa Murkowski or somebody like that. Who knows? But we wanted to start today. I saw a post by someone on Facebook commenting on the fact that Laura Loomer has the inside scoop that they are planning a coup against Pete Hegseth. And my response to that was a quiet coup. She said a silent coup. And my response to that was, it's not so silent. You know, the Democrats and Republicans alike have been calling for his head, calling him a war criminal. I don't think this is very silent. And just today, I ran across this information that Virginia Senator Mark Warner appears to be calling for military coup, and not so quietly.
Unbelievable.
He is a Democrat.
He opens his mouth and weird stuff comes out.
Mark Warner, he is a Democrat. He's from Virginia. And in an interview with MSNBC, which was with Joe Scarborough, who is a former Republican or claims to still be, I don't know what he claims. He said that he hopes, and this is a quote, that the uniformed military may save the country from Trump's presidency. He tried to make the case that President Trump and the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, had disrespected the military, and they may soon rise up against him, just like Milley rose up against him, just like Senator Mark Kelly, who is a former
sedition,
rising up against him.
At least.
Well, for what? For disrespecting him? No. My opinion, this is another dog whistle. This is yet another Democrat calling for Pete Hegseth's head and giving the, as he calls them, uniformed military a word. Okay, now it's go time. They're going to come after him.
They know nothing. The term squished like a bug comes to mind.
Yeah, exactly. But this is what they do. And however, it does give me pause, because it's like, well,
in their little tight circle, they've got it figured out that maybe we've got a chance to actually do this.
Well, no, I do believe that there are people that to whom they are actually speaking. It's they're actually giving them. It's just like when James Comey happened to see these pebbles on the beach that apparently God had arranged in 8647, which is, of course, 86. Everybody knows what that means. 47, you know, and so here we go. It's not a, Laura, I have news for you, honey. This is not a quiet coup. They're not being very quiet about it. They're being very open about it. And a lot of Republicans are jumping on the bandwagon with Democrats, which is one of the things that always seems to happen. The Democrats always stick together. But there's a reason why the Democrats always stick together. And one of the reasons is not because they always agree, not because they want to. It's because they get punished if they don't. And Senator Joe Manchin made that very clear, that whenever he would go against the Democrats, he would all of a sudden not get the assignments of committees that he wanted to have. Others have experienced the same kind of thing. They go after their own if they don't read from the same playbook. It's kind of obvious that that's what's going on. And I do feel sorry for those who happen to disagree. You know, like Rod Blagojevich.
Blagojevich.
Well, that's what I just said. Blagojevich. That's
It's
his
just
name.
fun to say. It's
It
a fun
is.
name to say.
It is, and it's easy name to sort of get twisted, like Glaboyevich or whatever. But Rod was he? That was during the Obama administration. He was governor of Illinois, and he dared to go against the establishment, and they accused him. And apparently, he had enough. He fought it for a long time, but he did serve time. President Trump did not pardon him, but he commuted his sentence so that he did get out earlier than he would have, because this is what they do. If you go against them, they don't have any recourse. You know, whatever Chuck Schumer, whatever Hakeem Jeffries tells them to do, they better knuckle down and do it. And you better not speak out against any of the leadership in the Democrat Party. But
Right.
this coup thing, I think, it should be taken seriously.
The word is brazen.
The word is brazen.
Yeah, it's thinking you're more you can have a bigger chance of success than you really will. A brazen attempt.
But I do believe that it should be taken seriously. I believe they need to be looking at what's going on behind the scenes. You know, just recently, one of the people that RFK Jr. appointed to the CDC was kind of quietly fired. And nobody knew exactly what happened until just recently it came out that the reason she was fired is because she had been making deals with people that she would make sure that Bobby Kennedy's plans did not go forward, that she would be able to stop them being in the CDC. And I don't remember exactly what her position was, but I know that it was pretty high up, and she was making these deals with people, telling them, and it was found out, and she was fired. I think one of the differences in the administration that I'm seeing now, as opposed to his first term, is they do seem to be addressing these people, or at least they're finding out about them sooner, and they're able to get rid of them. General Flynn wrote an article today, or I should correct myself. I don't know when he wrote it. He posted it today on Facebook about all of the people in President Trump's administration, not all of them, but 3 key people in his administration from his first term who were operating with those people pushing the Russiagate, you know, the Russia collusion delusion. One of them being Mike Pompeo, one of them being Gina Haspel, who, for those who don't remember, she was the director of the CIA. And another one, of course, is obvious, John Bolton. And John Bolton has lost his security clearance. I think Mike Pompeo and Gina Haspel should lose theirs as well. I think, in fact, the entire seditious 6 should lose theirs. In fact, they should already have lost their security clearances if they had one. I'm assuming they all did. It should be pulled.
But Trump could summarily pull their clearances. Why hasn't he done that?
Well, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. Shouldn't they have already been pulled? They should be pulled. He should just announce it. I don't know. It scares me a little bit as an American citizen that some of these people still have a security clearance. You know,
who knows? Who knows who's got what on whom?
Well, and the point is, if Mike Pompeo, who was former CIA director, Gina Haspel, former CIA director, and John Bolton, I started to say something not nice, but I won't say it.
Good.
I'm not going to get myself in trouble.
They can figure it out.
If they still have security clearances, and if they were working to put forth the Russiagate, the Russia collusion delusion, then they're still working against President Trump now. They're still cooperating with or helping or doing something with people who are coming against him now.
Obama's still in charge.
Exactly. Obama's still in charge. Brennan is still working with the CIA. Comey is still
dishing out the money.
Part of which came from Ukraine and Joe Biden.
Oh, that it comes from everywhere. I mean,
No, but I mean, there was always an argument as to about when they said 10% for the big guy, were they talking about Joe or were they talking about Obama? But that one guy did testify that they were talking about Joe. But my point is that Obama was probably also dipping into that Ukraine uh, money as well as everybody else. Act Blue was just spreading the money around. Who knows what, how, whether it helped. But in looking at the um, the Democrats and how they operate, um, President Trump on Wednesday today issued a full and unconditional pardon to Texas Democrat Representative Henry Cooler and his wife Imelda. Every time I hear the name Imelda, I think of Imelda Marcos. All those
she's too young to know that name, actually.
No, I'm not. Queller and his wife were facing a maximum of 204 years in prison after Biden's DOJ indicted them on federal bribery. Isn't that what Rod Blagojevich was thrown at bribery? He was. They said he was trying to sell the seat, the Senate seat. Yeah, which he proved that he wasn't. In any case, they were facing 204 years. He is a Democrat Texas lawmaker, and here's the point: his district is along the U.S. Mexico border. In any case, his crime, the actual crime that he committed, not the made-up crime, the actual crime, according to the Bidens and the DOJ, was he complained about the border. he complained about the fact that Biden left the border open. He thought that we should have, I don't know, a wall. Yeah.
The greatest travesty in U.S. history.
Right.
As time will show if you haven't figured it out yet.
But I am happy to see President Trump is nonpartisan in his pardoning. He doesn't just pardon Republicans; he pardons Democrats if he feels like they're worthy of it. And I wanted to read. I liked what Representative Cooler had to say in his thank you to President Trump. And I want to say something to this rep: become a Republican. President Trump pardons you. Help his party. Help us beat the Democrats in the next election.
I think it's pronounced Quellar.
I don't know. Quellar? Yeah. Quellar, maybe.
It's a word I've heard pronounced a lot, but I've never tried to emit it from my mouth myself.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's going to care that I mispronounced his name, but I can check that later. He says, I want to thank President Trump for his tremendous leadership and for taking the time to look at the facts. I thank God for standing with my family during this difficult time. This decision clears the air and lets us move forward for South Texas, gives us a clean slate. The noise is gone. The work remains, and I intend to meet it head on. And I hope the work that remains is that he will jump over to this side, because clearly he should be. But I want to get back to Senator Mark Warner and the coup. This is reminiscent in my mind of the Russia collusion delusion, which had been debunked 25 ways from Sunday. There was no evidence of it. There never was any evidence of it. And even when the evidence came out that cleared President Trump and cleared everyone else, no matter what the Mueller report said, or whether when they came out with the emails and transcripts and text messages and all the evidence that Tulsi Gabbard put forth that showed that the Clintons, and etc., were all involved in this, and that they had created the Steele dossier. Still, the Democrats are saying, that he colluded with the Russians. They're still calling him a puppet of Putin. They're still saying
I'm sure they pull surveys amongst Democrat people, and a healthy percentage of them still believes that stuff. So yeah, they're gonna keep occasionally pumping it.
And they still believe, some people, that the Hunter's laptop was not Hunter's laptop. And they still believe, but they still go. They go at it. It's just like all the other things that have been debunked. The war criminal thing has been completely debunked. I feel a little sorry for Admiral Bradley, who was the one who actually sunk that boat. But because it won't go away, they're still referring to him as a war criminal. They're still saying that they shot at 2 survivors on the boat. They're still coming at like Adam Schiff and who was that? Swalwell. I mean, these people, they are still, the Russian collusion delusion. It will not go away. And what really sticks in my craw a little bit is the Republicans who jump on the same bandwagon and are coming after Pete Hegseth and want him to resign, and they're pushing on President Trump to get rid of him. And I'm going to say, please, President Trump, don't listen to them. Do not get rid of Pete Hegseth, because that's what happened with General Flynn. Mike Pence was responsible for pushing President Trump, and other people who were bad people were pushing President Trump to get rid of General Flynn. And what they told him at the time was, if you get rid of General Flynn, the Russia collusion delusion will go away. Well, of course it didn't.
Mike Pence.
Yeah, I know.
The most ridiculous, treasonous turncoat in the history of the Republican Party.
Yes, he is still.
Yes.
And he gave President Trump credit for something the other day, and I'm not even going to mention it because he doesn't deserve mentioning. One of the things that bothers me the most is it when people do bad things, but when people who profess to be Christians do stuff that is so not Christian, then it's just that really gets under my skin. So, was there something else going on today that we needed
No,
to?
not right now.
Not right now. Okay.
As soon as I can get over there to my computer, there will be.
Okay. Well, you just. All right. So Bill has been fighting with his computer pretty much for a long time. We do have internet now, and it seems to be pretty stable. So we will be back. Either maybe Bill will be back sometime today, but we will be back tomorrow. And we greatly appreciate all of you. God bless President Trump. God bless the United States of America. And God bless all of you. Before we should check comments. Are there any comments we need to?
Finding Truth says, what do you think about Satan's Little Season? Huh? I've never heard of that.
I've no idea.
And then another guy, XRP Plumbing, says there's going to be a new monetary system about to start up, and it's all digital and tokenized. Well, digital and tokenized, but who's benefiting? We'll see.
We'll see. I don't think so. Okay, so let's sayonara. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.